What's up, MORTALZ? It's Pistol God here, and welcome to part 1 of What If Deku Had a Haki. Now, I know this has been already done before, but I wanted to use my take on it. So, yeah. Anyways, how would the My Hero Academia was change with Deku having Haki? Because it's gonna be awesome, by the way. And I'm gonna make sure one thing: Deku is still gonna be quirkless. I'm not gonna be making Haki some kind of quirk, but I'm gonna be explaining it why I'm not gonna make it a quirk, because you'll understand sooner or later. So I'm not gonna waste much of your time. So without any further ado, let's get watching. So we see a little kid, a green-haired kid named Izuku Midoriya, trying to protect another kid from a guy from another kid named Bakugo. If it's confusing, basically, Izuku is trying to protect someone from Bakugo because he does not want Bakugo to bully him. Izuku tries to tell Bakugo to back off from not bullying him, but Bakugo, who has a very big ego because of his quirk, that being explosion, due to the fact that he has a quirk explosion, people have treated him like he's going to be the great good hero, which caused him to develop an ego, thinking that he's superior to other people. And due to him bullying these people, Izuku decided to stand up to him, even though he is what the society deemed quirkless. Now, Bakugo tells him to move off, and when Izuku doesn't, Bakugo decides to attack Izuku by using his quirk explosion. But just before he could attack Izuku, Izuku, scared for his life, as well as the fact to protect this person, uses his will to protect, his will to protect, and his will to show that even though he is quirkless, he still can become a hero. It activates something deep within him. A wave of red lightning goes through it, but it's not visible to other people. But Bakugo and his goonies just their eyes go blank and they fall to the ground unconscious. This surprises both Izuku as well as the kid who was getting bullied, and Izuku thinks that this is a quirk. So he goes back to his house and tells his mother that he's unlocked his quirk. His mother goes to the quirk doctor again, and after another checkup, they still tell that Izuku is quirkless. This causes his mother to think that Izuku is kind of becoming delusional because of not having a quirk and thinking that he has a quirk. But Izuku knows that he did something. He knows that he did, and he tries to find it out by himself. Because even though he trusts his mother on this thing, she isn't believing him on this. Nor does she believe that he can become a hero. So he decides to see what the hell it is. A year passes with a 5-year-old Izuku trying to do what he does best, trying to research, and finally he's able to do it again. He doesn't know what it is, but he basically projects his will upon others. This is showed by when Bakugo tries to pick on him after the incident where he knocked Bakugo out for the first time. Izuku isn't able to do anything until he does a couple of months later, and this causes Izuku to finally realize that this might not be a quirk, and he starts researching it. It takes him 10 years for him to realize just what kind of ability it is, and he also starts training with this ability. Now he calls this ability Haki because why not, the manifestation of will. Now Haki is a manifestation of will, and he decides to categorize it into three parts. Number one is what he calls conquerors, because when he uses it, when he manifests his will upon others, they either knock out or they submit, and he calls this conqueror's Haki. Next is something known as Yagament Haki, which allows him to manipulate his own willpower in a physical form, which causes him to punch really hard. It basically increases his physical strength, physical attributes, as well as his durability and endurance, and it's not connected to his stamina, meaning until Izuku has willpower, he can continue to use this power. The third is something which Izuku picked up accidentally while Bakugo was trying to sneak behind him and attack him. This He calls it observation haki. This allows Izuku to use his will as a sixth sense surrounding him, so he could sense what is going on. He does realize that this is not a quirk, but rather the skill, a power that is his own. Because the quirk, even after 2 times, said that he is quirkless, meaning that this is something else, a superpower, an ability that only he has. He tries to tell his mother about this, but she does not believe him, thinking that Izuku is going uh, mental because of it. She tries to give him therapy, but Izuku denies it very violently, very adamantly. But Izuku does is able to convince his mother to put him in some classes so he could develop his muscles, and his mother, thinking that this might be the best way for Izuku to come to reality, does. Izuku takes classes, especially martial arts classes, exercises a lot, and tries to use the haki in combat experience. Basically, engaging haki in his fist to increase his own physical stats. 10 years pass, as I said, and Izuku is able to grow into a much more confident person who stands back against Bakugo's bullying, and Bakugo calms down considerably. But that doesn't mean he's buddy buddy with Izuku. No, he views Izuku as his rival because he doesn't know what the hell Izuku is really. Izuku is deemed as quirkless, and even in the register, his quirk is said to be none. But whenever he tries to attack Izuku, he's knocked out. As the time goes on, he thinks he can resist it, but it is basically Izuku holding back against him. But Bakugo doesn't really know about this, so Izuku uses Bakugo and his Kuni as a small training partner to regulate his output of Conqueror's Haki, so he doesn't like knock everybody whenever he uses it over and over again, and he's actually able to master this. He's actually able to master Conqueror's Haki quite a bit. But no, not worry, he's still not advanced Conqueror's Haki level. Because remember, Izuku's basically fumbling about Haki on his own. He doesn't have anyone to teach him, like Luffy did. So meaning he can't just get advanced observation Haki, advanced Conqueror's Haki, and advanced armament Haki just like off the bat. I'm not gonna make him that OP. And anyways, Izuku is a charismatic guy, as I said, and he doesn't take shit from anyone. And due to the fact that he can just look into them and knock them out easily, they kind of fear him because they don't know what the hell he does. He sneaks them, he doesn't know. But whenever they try to mess with Izuku, he puts some kind of pressure on them. They don't know what, and they try to find out, but it's just isn't working. Now, while training, Izuku does figure out that armament haki, which coats his hand with his haki, is black to him, but is visible to him, but invisible to others. This is proven by his mother's reaction on Izuku learning this, and he realized that he can't really trust his mother on these things because she isn't believing him, causing Izuku to just manually do everything on his own. Now, as I said, let's come to this. The day happened where the day goes normally for Izuku, but it changes. He sees Kamui Woods, and big lady fighting a villain who has a gigantification quirk or something. I forgot what quirk it was. Maybe hardening or gigantification or something. I don't know properly, but Izuku's personality is different due to the fact that he has a power that is unique to himself. He's a little bit overconfident, not like Baku, but he's a little bit overconfident and uh, he's a little bit overconfident, and he sees heroes for what they are, not worshipping them like some other version of him do. Now, when he sees this fight, he notices only one thing: the collateral damage which is going on. They are fighting in the middle of a street. Instead of taking them quickly, this Mount Lady is showing off. Kamovich is doing as fast as possible to finish this, but Mount Lady is just taking the kill, which doesn't please him quite a bit. But he decides to walk to his class, where his teacher throws away the career development sheet, if I remember correctly, yeah, career development sheet, and announces to the class that they are gonna be the heroes. And Bakugo, being who he is, jumps up and tells them to not put him in the bunch of extras, and that he is going to be the number one hero. This kind of annoys Deku because even though years have passed and basically Izuku can easily uh, dog shit Bakugo at this point. Bakugo is still arrogant and he is the top dog. But after this, the teacher also says that even Izuku is applying for UA. And this kind of shuts Bakugo up because even though he knows he might be the top dog, Izuku is still unpredictable guy. Completely a person who's completely nonsensical to him. Because whatever it is, Katsuki cannot determine what the hell Deku is. A quirkless guy or a guy with a quirk. He does not know shit. So, so Bakugo sits down, kind of pissed that he's not getting the fame that he would have, because people are also thinking that Izuku might have a chance to get in UA because of his physical capabilities, that due to the fact that he knows quite a bit of martial arts as well as his physical capabilities, which just gets boosted by some odd reason. But even though they think Izuku has a quirk, it is evident that he does not have. And many people are wondering what the hell Izuku really is. A mutation, a guy who's deemed quirkless but has a quirk or something. They don't know what, and they did try to find out, but as I said, it's useless. They cannot find out because Haki is invisible to any other person other than himself or Deku. Anyways, the school ends and Bakugo decides to pick a fight with Izuku just like always. But even before he could reach Izuku, Izuku just sends away or conquers Haki, pushing Bakugo to his feet, causing Bakugo to get embarrassed as well as angry, like he always does. And but Izuku just walks away without even saying anything. Now, what is the relationship between Izuku and Bakugo at this point? In canon, it was like Izuku trying to befriend Bakugo over and over again and kind of forgiving everything. But as I said, this Izuku is different. He doesn't see them. He doesn't see the. Still sees the good in people just like he did before, but he sees them for who they are, not for what they stand for. Like Bakugo inspired him, but this timeline Bakugo doesn't inspire him. Bakugo inspired him to be someone that is not Bakugo. Okay, if you understand what I mean. But anyways, while Izuku is walking home, he decides to take a shortcut or a long cut, whatever it is, and he goes to the tunnel where he senses something. He says his observation Haki picks up something, and when he turns, a slimy villain jumps up, telling that he's gonna take his body. But Izuku ain't gonna do shit. Izuku decides to just end this in one fell swoop, and with the full force of Conqueror's Haki, he just puts full force Conqueror's Haki onto the villain, knocking him out instantly. And Izuku decides to walk home, but that's when he senses another energy, another person, and Izuku can instantly realize that this person is strong as hell. But he doesn't know if it's an uh, enemy or an ally. So even though Izuku knows that he's outmatched pretty badly, in fact, he decides to fight because he won't run away. That's when someone lands in front of him, and Izuku's confused, but then starts freaking out because it's All Might. And even though Izuku is different, he's still a fan of All Might. I mean, come on. But as I said, Izuku is different, like really different. And this is going to be showing you. I'm going to show you later. All Might congratulates Izuku on the job well done for subduing the villain and tells that Izuku might have a powerful quirk. But Izuku tells it that he does not have a quirk according to the doctors. This this shocks Toshinori because kind of can relate to Izuku not having a quirk, but he wants to know what the kid is talking about, and Izuku explains. He explains the same thing that he explained to other people, which they don't believe him. Basically, he's manifesting his will on a you could say on a physical format like armament Haki or Conqueror's Haki. Basically, yeah, basically using his willpower to fight or knock someone out. This does seem suspicious to All Might, thinking that Izuku is lying to get his favor or something, to impress All Might, because, as I said, All Might is a popular guy. I mean, I didn't say that, so now I'm saying it. All Might is a popular guy, so there are many people who might have lied to him, and All Might just puts Izuku on one of those categories. Izuku does realize that All Might doesn't believe him, which causes him to be put down. So All Might jumps away, thanking Izuku and signing his notebook, but other than that, nothing much happens. But while Izuku is walking down, he senses something, senses the same slime monster, but it shouldn't be possible because All Might jumped and All Might took care of it, put it in a bottle and take it to the police. But Izuku follows this feeling and he feels more people around the area. He doesn't know what, but then he feels someone familiar. Bakugo. He immediately runs and reaches the place where it's crowded and he sees, it kind of scares him. It's Bakugo who's been held up by the villain trying to take over his body. The same thing that it tried against Izuku, but it didn't work. Izuku sees what the hell the heroes are doing, but they aren't doing anything, and he realizes that the heroes are just wasting their time while Bakugo is trying to do everything in his power, like trying explosions to release himself from the villain's grasp. That's when Izuku, even on instinct, runs. But not only runs, he uses his Haki to run. Due to the fact that Izuku is just doing this on instinct, his control over his Haki just completely gets released. Meaning his Conqueror's Haki just goes in waves and waves, knocking some people out, knocking the normal civilians out, as well as knocking both Bakugo and the villain out. The heroes are just barely able to stand because they are heroes and they would have greater wills, not just get subdued by Izuku. Come on, seriously. If you guys really think that Izuku is the epitome of willpower, I mean, right now, that is, he's kind of overconfident, you could say. But yeah, anyways, there are some people who are knocked out, but heroes mostly are just dead. Even All Might, who got the brunt of the force right now, who was in the skinny form. And Izuku quickly runs to Bakugo, picks him up, and runs back to the villains in a speed that actually surprises even All Might, because even though that Izuku said he was quirkless, this speed doesn't. This speed just makes it false. You know, but for some odd reason, his gut instinct tells him to trust this kid, and that's what he does. He trusts the kid. Now, Izuku does get questioned about what the hell happened, but Izuku, knowing that no one's gonna believe him, just says, "Well, it doesn't matter. I did your job for you, so be done with it. Why the hell are you asking me questions for?" This attitude does piss off some of the heroes, but before they could really tell him like talk shit to him, he just leaves. And while walking, he senses another person, and when he turns, that's Bakugo, who's kind of surprised that Izuku was able to react to him because he was kind of trying to sneak up on Izuku and jump him. I mean, it's not kind of. I mean, he tried it before, but it just does not work. And Bakugo tells Izuku that he didn't need help, but Izuku just rolls his eyes and said, "Yes, you did." This kind of pisses off Bhagavat. Before he could say anything, Izuku just puts a conqueror wave on Bhagavat, just telling him to get lost. Bhagavat does so, but pissed, like seriously. And that's what, with this anger, Bhagavat trains for the next 10 months to make sure that he one ups Izuku and becomes the greatest hero of all time. Bakugo sees Izuku as a rival, but Izuku doesn't see it because Izuku is kind of overconfident on his Haki that it can just nullify anybody basically at this point, and he did not really face someone who could take a brunt of his Haki and still be conscious yet. You might be getting what I'm saying, but anyways, Izuku then senses another person and he turns to see All Might. What is All Might doing here? But then when All Might de-transforms or transform whatever to a skinny man, and Isuku is shocked, like, what the fuck? Where the hell is All Might? But his observation Haki does still pick up the same signature. This is All Might. But he can't believe why the hell is All Might a skinny looking dude. And Izuku can also sense something, an injury, which he did sense before, but he didn't put some mind into it because he thought that All Might would be the most superior person there ever is. But this injury is much more sensible now, and this confuses him. But that's when All Might introduces himself as Toshinori Yagi, and first All Might apologizes to Izuku for doubting him and thinking that Izuku lied to him. And even though Izuku did knew about this, he still gets annoyed. But he does accept All Might's apology. I mean, come on, it's All Might. I mean, in Izuku's eyes. So that's when All Might tells Izuku about what the hell happened, about the scar that he fought against a villain 6 years ago. I remember, yeah, 6 years ago, where his half of the stomach was removed and he can only do it for 2 hours. This shocks Izuku, but he can't believe it because All Might is the symbol of peace, and if this guy is this weak, then what's going to happen in the future? I mean, is the future going to survive? What's going to happen? He does not know. And All Might comes up with a proposition that even Izuku was caught out by. Yeah, All Might starts explaining about his quirk, the theories behind his quirk, because he never really explained it to the public. He explains his quirk is passed on from one person to another person, and now he wants Deku to have that quirk. This completely stupefies Deku, and he can't even mouth a response. And All Might continues, saying, "This guy kind of like a torch. You were the hero that I wanted to be. You were the hero that I wanted to be when I started my journey as being a hero. I wanted to help people. You did too. You didn't stay there. You ran when I was back there trying to figure out how the hell I could save him. You did not think about it for a minute. You just ran. And how did you? Why did you run?" Uh, All Might asks, and Izuku just says, "Well, I ran with the help of instincts, maybe." Is well, All Might nods and confirms, then saying, "All great heroes use their instincts to save people. Your instinct was to save people, which makes you a great hero. You can become a hero." This breaks a dam on Izuku's chest. He starts holding his chest and tears start coming out. Even though he wants to hold it back, he cannot. No one, no one, not even his mother, believed that he could become a hero. He wanted to prove them all wrong by becoming a hero, but now someone does believe in him. And this guy is offering his quirk, and Izuku, without any more thinking, accepts. And yes, Izuku's still gonna get our one for all. Now you might be thinking, why the hell is Izuku getting one for all even though he has Haki? But Haki, even though it's boosting the physical capabilities to an insane level, it's still not as boosting as one for all. I mean, come on, you guys really think that in the fist of Haki, just Haki and no physical strength, Luffy was able to go toe to toe with Kaido? Not toe to toe, but still, you guys understand my point. So you really think that just with Haki, Deku, Luffy was able to go and fight Kaido? I mean, yeah, Haki does give immense damage, but you needed strength. Your physical strength is also an important aspect of it. And even though Izuku has good physical feats, good physical body, as well as his strength, it's still not enough for him to do stuff, become the top number one hero. And yeah, I think one for all is still good for him, as I said. But as I said, Izuku is different, and you will understand what I mean when I get to the training arc. Anyways, All Might calls him to the Deguma beach the next day, which Izuku goes, and that's when gets the task of explaining how his ability works. Izuku explains the research that he did for 10 goddamn years, as well as the findings that he got, how his Haki works, his will or Haki works, and All Might decides to test something. He goes to his bus form and tells Izuku to throw a full complex Haki on him. Izuku is skeptical of this because in his own word, he thinks that nobody can survive it, even the number one hero. I mean, he's just overconfident, as I said, but not arrogant. Overconfidence just mean that here. Let me explain what overconfidence means. Overconfidence means that people are like boasting about their ability, but not weakening others. But arrogance means that they think that they are the best, while others are weak compared to them. That's what arrogant means. Izuku is not arrogant. He's overconfident. Meaning, after some persuasion, Izuku does reluctantly accept, and he completely throws the entire Conqueror's Haki on. I mean, he just releases his Conqueror's Haki on All Might. Now, All Might does get struggled for a bit. He doesn't go to his knees. No, Izuku, there's a weight on All Might, like something's crushing him. But All Might's will is way greater than Izuku could ever hope for. And currently, what Izuku has, Izuku's will is not even close to what All Might's will is. At this point, because think about it, All Might has fought battles that nobody could ever have, which forged his will. Not only that, but his reason for becoming the symbol of peace to uh, wipe out crime. That is greater than Izuku, who just wants to save people. All of these factors combined with his 40 years of experience makes him have a greater will than Izuku. Meaning, All Might is able to shrug it off like some kind of baseball. I mean, some kind of punch that All Might gets. Basically, it's a punch. For All Might, it's basically a punch to the face. A strong punch, but not really the biggest impact to him. This completely shocks Izuku because in Izuku's view, his Conquest Haki was unbeatable. But now it just got beaten by All Might. And All Might now was not even in his knees. This kind of gives Izuku a realization that he's kind of over dependent on his Conqueror's Haki, thinking he can just Conqueror's Haki's way through things. But now that he's seen All Might resisting his Conqueror's Haki, this gives him a motivation to become so strong that nobody can restrict his Conqueror's Haki. Now, yes, Deku still wants to be a hero too, so he could save people, but he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a hero just like All Might. Now, he wants to be a hero like All Might, the things that All Might stands for, but he doesn't want to become a copy of him, just like Canon Izuku wanted to do. Now, All Might tells after this little spectacle, All Might reverts back to his base, like skinny form, and tells Izuku to do the job and cleaning, and that's what Izuku does. For a month, Izuku owns his body by lifting trash, as well as All Might telling him to use his armament hook to figure out how much of an enhance it is. After doing this, for in just a month, the entire beach is cleared, and Izuku has his body is just the same as canon wise after 10 months of training, and All Might deems him worthy to inherit the one for all quirk. So he goes to his giant form, plucks a hair from his head and gives it to Izuku. Izuku is disgusted by it after listening to the reason for because he wants to share his DNA with him. This Izuku reluctantly takes the hair and uh, swallows it, and that day All Might tells him to take a day off so the power could go inside of him, and yes, the next day happens, and that's where we're gonna leave for this episode, guys. I know this is not the longest episode that I've ever made, but it's still like 29 minutes long, so really, you guys might be disappointed by this, but sorry, I guess, because I'm not really in the mood to make what else. My head is spinning really bad, but I still wanted to make content because I just wanted to get this off my head before I have even more things shoved into my head by myself. But yeah, anyways, that's all for this episode, guys. If you guys like this video, like, share, subscribe, do the necessary stuff. And if you don't, I can understand. Peace out.